evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Maisy Mok. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. John Lee throws his weight behind Beijing's move to promote patriotic education to all Chinese citizens. Police smash a human smuggling ring and arrest 3 suspected kingpins, including a 17-year-old. And Premier Li Qiang warns countries which politicize their economies that they are harming the world. Chief Executive John Lee has come out in support of Beijing's bid to promote patriotic education to all Chinese citizens, including Hong Kongers. Details have yet to be released, but Lee said Hong Kong can easily apply any national education requirement.
China's top lawmakers are debating a draft law to promote patriotism, especially among children and teenagers. There will be targeted rules on patriotic education for residents of Hong Kong and Macau. Chief Executive John Lee supports the move, saying it will help Hong Kong develop patriotism as a core value. Details of how the law will apply to the city have not been disclosed, but Lee said no matter what, the SAR government will comply with Beijing's requirement. He said implementation should be easy, as national education has been included in various subjects, including Chinese history and national security education. State media reported that Beijing's patriotic education law will cover a wide range, including politics, ideology, and role models. Lee said the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress will consult the SAR government and the Basic Law Committee about implementation once the bill is passed. Lau Siu-kai, a consultant of the Chinese Association of Hong Kong and Macau Studies, believes that the SAR is included because Beijing wants the country to be more united to counter global threats.
2 young girls remain in serious condition in Tuen Mun Hospital after eating sweets laced with cannabidiol. Police charged their father with alleged ill treatment or negligence of the children, aged 2 and 4. The 21-year-old man, who's also accused of possessing drugs, will appear in Tuen Mun Magistracy tomorrow. His cousin, who was detained on the same charges, was granted bail. An initial police investigation found that the cousin accidentally gave the girls the sweets that contained the banned drug. Police have smashed a human smuggling ring and arrested 3 alleged masterminds, one of whom is only 17 years old. 6 suspected illegal immigrants, including 5 from Vietnam, were also detained. Janice Low reports.
During an operation codenamed Arrow Flood, police arrested 6 illegal immigrants in a house in Ha Pak Nai in Yuen Long early yesterday morning. The suspects, aged 31 to 49, were 5 Vietnamese people and a mainlander. The speedboat they arrived on was found at the shore. In a suspected getaway car parked nearby, officers found a Vietnamese prepaid SIM card, as well as $18,000 and 34,000 yuan in cash. Police believe the illegal immigrants were charged at least $10,000 each. The 56-year-old car driver was arrested. Officers also arrested 2 more locals who allegedly provided temporary accommodation for the illegal immigrants. Chief Inspector Mo Siu-hei said the human smuggling syndicate has been operating for 6 months and was controlled by 3 triad members, one of whom was only 17 years old. The 3, who were also arrested, allegedly smuggled people in and arranged illegal work for them. The 6 illegal immigrants and the 6 Hong Kongers have been detained for questioning. Janice Low, HKIBC.
An elderly man has been robbed of a watch worth $30,000 by a woman who lured him into an empty flat in Cheung Sha Wan. The woman in her 40s or 50s offered to give the 79-year-old man a massage this morning. he was taken to a first-floor unit on Castle Peak Road, where he was pushed to the floor. The woman grabbed the watch and a $600 ring and fled. The victim reported the robbery to police patrolling on the streets and was sent to hospital with hand injuries. Members of a Hong Kong team that searched for earthquake survivors in Turkey have been honored for their mission. The volunteers defeated several other nominees to scoop a new prize. Janice Low reports.
The first CE's Award for Exemplary Performance goes to the Hong Kong SAR rescue team, which has participated in the rescue work in the Turkey earthquake.
Back in February, Hong Kong rushed 59 people and 2 sniffer dogs to southern Turkey after the region and neighboring Syria were devastated by a powerful earthquake. The SAR's search and rescue team was sent to Hatay, one of the worst-hit areas, where they pulled 4 people from under the rubble. They also recovered 6 bodies. 49 volunteers were from the Fire Services Department, and the rest were health, security, and immigration staff. The CE's Award for Exemplary Performance, announced in John Lee's maiden policy address, but launched this year, encourages civil servants to strive for excellence and rewards outstanding performers. Lee said the Hong Kong rescuers risked building collapses and aftershocks, but remained focused on their mission to save lives.
Through awarding to the actual team whose work will tell the exemplary stories of what I would like to promote and I would like the civil service to subscribe to and work to. So it is a level of excellence that I want them to take as their day-to-day culture and doctrine.
Civil Service Chief Ingrid Yeung, who is in Beijing on a duty visit, congratulated the award winners, saying they deserved the recognition. The earthquake in Turkey killed at least 50,000 people, and about 2 million survivors still live in makeshift shelters. Janice Low, HKIBC.
Relations between China and New Zealand are set to improve, with President Xi Jinping meeting Prime Minister Chris Hipkins in Beijing. The meeting in the Great Hall of the People opens a new era as Hipkins begins a week-long trade mission to China. His agenda includes talks on economic relations with China and international students and tourism. The New Zealand leader will also likely point to areas where the two countries disagree. Premier Li Qiang has warned that governments which try to politicize their economies will only hurt the world. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Tianjin, Li also said China's economic recovery is on the right track. Chloe Fong reports.
The World Economic Forum's 14th annual meeting of the New Champions, also known as the Summer Davos, began in the northern port city of Tianjin, marking its first in-person gathering in 3 years. In his keynote speech, Premier Li Qiang said China is on track to achieve its growth target of around 5% this year. Second quarter growth is expected to be bigger than the 4.5% growth seen in the first 3 months. Li said China will roll out more practical and effective measures to expand domestic demand and stimulate market dynamism. But there was no concrete indication of possible stimulus. The former Shanghai mayor also emphasized the need for global cooperation on trade, economic growth, and supply chain stability, and warned against attempts to politicize economies.
Some in the West are hyping up the so-called phraseologies of reducing dependencies and de-risking. These two concepts, I would say, are false propositions. As economic globalization has already made the world economy an integral whole where everyone's interests are closely entwined. We can enable each other's success.
Li added that business decisions should not be subject to geopolitical confrontations. The summer Davos is set to bring together over 1,500 global political and business leaders from 90 regions. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Hong Kong-born Olivia Chow has been elected as mayor of Toronto. The 66-year-old leftist is the first woman of color to lead Canada's largest city. She received 37% of the vote, ending 13 years of right-leaning rule in the city. During her campaign, she vowed to make Toronto more affordable, safe, and caring. Chow emigrated to Canada with her parents when she was 13. She later became a Toronto City Councillor and a Member of Parliament. Russian President Vladimir Putin has confirmed that Russian pilots were killed during a brief rebellion by mercenaries. Putin also defended his handling of the crisis, saying he wanted to avoid bloodshed. Azam Khan reports.
Была проявлена высочайшая консолидация общества.
In his first appearance since the short-lived mutiny by the Wagner mercenary group, Russian President Vladimir Putin said the steps he took to end the rebellion were aimed at avoiding bloodshed. But he admitted that an unspecified number of Russian pilots were killed in clashes with Wagner troops, headed by his one-time ally, Yevgeny Prigozhin. Putin thanked the Russian people for showing unity. He also expressed gratitude to most of the mercenaries who had defiantly marched to Moscow on Saturday for not letting the situation deteriorate. They can sign a contract with the Russian military, return to their families, or move to Belarus. Prigozhin himself has been exiled to Belarus after Moscow decided not to prosecute him. Putin met Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and other top security officials to discuss the rebellion and display solidarity between the Kremlin and the Russian armed forces. Prigozhin earlier said he revolted because he believed that Shoigu and his top officers were incompetent. As the Russian Defense Ministry announced that the Wagner mercenaries are preparing to surrender their heavy military equipment, Moscow stated that Prigozhin is still under official investigation. Azam Khan, HKIBC.
The Hong Kong stock market snapped a 5-day losing streak, with a takeover bid grabbing the headlines. New World Development and Chow Tai Fook Enterprises offered to take over infrastructure subsidiary NWS Holdings for $35.8 billion. The developer is offering shareholders $4 billion in special dividends. NWS closed the day 11.3% higher. New World finished slightly higher after rising as much as 10% during the session. Chow Tai Fook was marginally lower. The Hang Seng surged 1.9% on expectations that China will step up stimulus measures to give growth a shot in the arm. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up by 354 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tracker Fund was up 33 cents, Tencent was up $8.60, while Alibaba was up $2.20. Ping An was up $1.25, AIA was up $1.95, while BYD Company was down $2. To the forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, Euro is at 8.58. The British pound is at 9.97, while the Australian dollar is at 5.24. And in the UK market, the London FTSE is currently down 20 points. Hong Kong Premier League runners-up Lee Men are aiming to do better next season, locally and in Asia. Armed with a $20 million war chest, the club is sending its players to South Korea for 3 weeks of training, starting in the middle of next month. They will then take on Bali United of Indonesia in a bid to qualify for the Asian Champions League. Li men have strengthened their squad, recruiting Brazilian Paulinho, who scored 16 goals for Taipo last season. Fellow Brazilian defender Dudu joins from Kwun Chung Southern. On to the weather now. It will be very hot with a few showers tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 28 and 33 degrees. Similar forecast for the next couple of days. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Tuesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Maisy Mok. Thanks for watching. Good night.